So a lot of people ask me about my vocation, Father Rob. How did you figure out you were supposed to be a priest? Well, things started a long time ago when I was a kid. When you'd go to CCD and you'd hear somebody talking about vocation, you're like, oh, that might be me. Well, when I went to college and I was here at University of Maryland, I joined a fraternity, and my fraternity was, I won't name it right now, but if you want to see my fraternity where it exists today, check it out. Yep, $2 an hour for parking. This is where my old fraternity house was, right here on Knox Road. Well, being in a fraternity was a good thing in some ways and a bad thing in some ways. Why is it good? Because you make great friends. It's a great outlet for, knowing people here at Maryland when there was 40,000 undergraduates when I was in school here. Plus, more than that actually. But even more so, just really finding a way to be a part of University of Maryland in a unique way. What was the downside? That you make a lot of bad decisions. There's a lot of pressure to do things that maybe you wouldn't otherwise do. And I think a lot of people in today's society feel the same pressure that I felt back then. And the one thing I can tell you is I wish I had been strong enough to say no to a lot of the things I was pressured into saying yes to. It was my mistakes. I own up to them. But there's a lot of regrets that I have too. So yeah, I was in a fraternity and I was in an honor system called the Order of Omega. So when I was in my fraternity, I had some leadership stuff, and I got a job after I got out of school. I went to work for a car company called Land Rover, and career became the most important thing to me. Making money, having sort of like influence over others, maybe like a sense of power, just having stuff. Having stuff was really important. And all of that left me really empty. I did 10 years in that job, and by the end of it, I couldn't do another day, even though I loved that job. It was so much fun. What was the problem? The problem was I wasn't feeding my soul. I was feeding everything else about my life. I wasn't feeding my soul, and I felt absolutely empty and absolutely just without a direction whatsoever in my life. And I said, something has to change. And that was when I started going to church, not because I was supposed to or my mom told me to, but because I needed it. I needed Jesus in my life and didn't even know it. That's where everything changed for me. So I was kind of miserable with life, and I wasn't really sure where I was going. My job was still great, but I just wasn't satisfied, and so I knew I had to make some changes. In the middle of that, I was dating this young woman who I really thought I wanted to get married to. She was amazing, still is amazing, but God told me something that he just said, marriage is not for you. You're supposed to be doing something different from marriage. And so I said, I'm going to go on my own path. I'm going to meet God halfway, but do what I want to do halfway. And I got accepted, believe it or not, to PA school to become a physician assistant. I had been doing EMT work and some other things, and so I get into PA school, and I start school. Me and this girl break up. My life is in kind of a tailspin, but I'm at peace. I'm doing something, but there's not the peace that I'm looking for. After 2 weeks of PA school, I left, went and talked to the vocations director, and he said, hey man, if you want in this year, you're doing all the things we want a seminarian to be doing, someone entering the seminary, so let me know in 4 days. I go to the ordinations that weekend, downtown DC, and I look up at these guys getting ordained, and I was like, crap. I guess I got to go to the seminary. That was 2001. Into the seminary I went. 2005, I get ordained to the diaconate. 2006, I'm ordained to the priesthood. Here I am now. So for more information about this, go to www.fatherrob, went to the seminary kicking and screaming.org. Peace.